Hi, this is Jovi from Jovi's Readings, and I am going to do a what's it called? Tarot intro. Well, it's not an interview; it's more like a review. So I think the last 3 weeks or like the last month, I was working with the Tarotwave, and um, since I've been working with it, I kind of just wanted to see how our relationship or our bond is uh, working. So some things that I will personally talk about will be the cards that I like, cards that I'm looking forward, some soccer cards, and cards that impress me. I also will be talking like I'll be mentioning my opinions on this deck, and then on the last section, I will what's it called? Provide a spread to see our connection. All right. So without further ado, uh, let's get started. Alright, so initially what I thought about this deck, so this is the Kickstarter that recently put this right here, came back into print. This is the second edition. So what I was actually looking forward for this edition was to see the Ten of Pentacles, because I'm pretty sure in the last edition, some people were there was an extra pentacle in the Ten of Pentacles. I might be wrong, but that's what I assume. But yeah, so I kind of wanted this deck for that reason, to see how the Ten of Pentacles would come up. Um, there is some like misplacement in the tarot cards. Like, let me see. Should have probably gotten this ready. It's the Eight of Swords. The Eight of Swords has a small little imperfection. Three, four. Wow. uh, yeah, all these cards are like pretty. They're pretty nice looking, futuristic. Here we go. Okay. Alright, so the Eight of Swords, I don't know if you can tell, but there's like this little small white line that, you know, it just wasn't cut properly, but it's not a big deal. I mean, it shuffles pretty nice, and I just, in all honesty, I kind of wish like the holographic back was in the front. It would have been so much better looking, but I mean, it's nice. I think I really want to ask if in the next edition that the creator, does it say the creator? I don't know. I'm pretty sure I have her card, or I know, but if the creator could just like, instead of making the backs holographic, she could make um the fronts holographic instead. That would be so awesome. But those are just my initial thoughts. So next will be the cards that I look for. Right. So for this section, cards that I look for in decks just in general, that I want to see if I like the way that they look, and it will basically decide if I get the deck or not. So the cards that I looked for, the first card is the Star, and the Star, obviously Aquarius, Sun. I have to have a star. Like, come on now. So this is pretty. A simple card. Um, uh, you know, there's nothing much to it. I mean, it's impressive, but it's pretty plain. Like, I'm not gonna lie. but it's still nice to look at. Um, the second card is actually, let me put this right over here. The second card is the Lovers, of course. I mean, it looks pretty pleasant. Pleasant. I hope I'm saying it right. Pleasant to the eye, especially since this is marble and it kind of looks fixed, like it's not going to go anywhere. I really like that. So next we have the Chariot, and the reason why is because I have a Cancer rising. So it's pretty. It's just nice to look at the Chariot. And then the last cards, the Devil. Why the Devil? Well, for me, the Devil has special meaning to me. Although like it can represent like a bad behavior or a bad attitude, or like just bad influences in your life. It can also, for me, represent my Capricorn moon. And my Capricorn moon can be pessimistic, but like I just like to bring it up and I like to see how the cards depict this Capricorn energy in the Devil card. And I mean, it's weird. Like, you can't really see their faces. I think it's covered in hair, and then there's gambling, of course, which is a nice depiction, like you're gambling with your life. I don't know. And then the last card is the Five of Cups. So, I mean, the Five of Cups looks pretty normal. I mean, it's the only minor arcana that like I kind of look forward for, because it's just although it's like it's disappointment, but it also can represent like looking at a more positive side of life instead of just staying on the negative. But those are just some of the cards that I look for in the deck. Alright, so the next will be stalker cards. So for certain, I know two cards were my stalker cards in this deck, and that is the Two of Swords and the Four of Swords. And I always kept seeing the Four of Swords like in the bottom of the card, not the bottom of the card, bottom of the deck. It was just so weird. Like, it was, I want to assume it was telling me to meditate. I don't always meditate, like, I'm not gonna lie, but I usually try to before I even attempt to do like any readings that are not my own. Like, if it's just me doing this, pulling a reading, I don't meditate. But if it's someone else, then I do. And then the Two of Swords. Two of Swords can represent a stalemate, or like, yeah, like not seeing like having two different points of views or opinions, and just letting that be. So it's quite interesting that these two cards were my stock cards, like officially, and then some other cards were the Ten of Cups and then the Ten of Pentacles. I want to say these were maybe, they did pop up a lot, but not like the Four and Two of Swords. But yeah, those are my soccer cards. And then cards that impressed me. So there's three in these categories. So it's first the glitch card. The glitch card, you know, pretty unusual card. I've I haven't actually pulled it in a reading yet, but it has popped up at some points. The Death card. I actually have like a deck, a Rider-Waite-Smith, that has the same, almost the same backing, so that's why it kind of impressed me. And then lastly, the High Priestess. The High Priestess looks kind of like unusual. Like, she actually looks really clear, like the most clear out of all these cards, I want to say. But yeah, those are my stalker cards, and then the cards that impressed me. Alright, next we will move to the spreads, and we'll actually see like how, like, my relationship with this what's it called, with this tarot deck is like. But yeah, whoa, okay. Alright. Okay, so for this deck interview spread, so since I've already got into, since I've already worked with this deck, it's not really an interview, but I just want to see like the connection that we have. All right. So, let's see. So we're gonna go with preferences, dislikes, some about itself, some messages, a connection, how it responds to readings such as love, work, physical, and then spiritual. Let's see. All right, preferences. Too many. Preferences, Nine of Wands. Dislikes, the Fool. Reading style, the Wheel of Fortune. Messages, the Page of Cups. Connection, the Eight of Pentacles. All right. So, next to the 4 categories: love, work or finance, and then physical, and then spiritual growth. Okay. Love, the Tower. Work, the Eight of Cups. Physical, the Five of Pentacles. And then spiritual, the Hermit. Alright, so I will move everything to a viewpoint. First, let's get started. So the first preferences, we got the Nine of Wands. And the Nine of Wands, it's all about like this kind of tired energy. So I think what I want to assume, like, the preference for this deck is like, although it can do a good like amount of readings for everyone, I feel like it's more of like a one-on-one session. Like, I want to say that the energy for this deck, when it does a reading for like a mass group of people, it gets pretty tired and worn down. So that's its preference. Next, we have its dislikes. So the Fool can represent like asking something that came into my mind for this deck. It doesn't like to answer I'm just gonna say this bluntly: stupid questions, or questions that you already know the answer to. Like, it's not trying to view the big picture. It's trying to stay focused on you and your path in life. And it just doesn't like it just doesn't like questions that aren't what's it called, that aren't serving your purpose. All right. So, something about itself. So, something about itself is the Wheel of Fortune, and the Wheel of Fortune represents change, movement. Um, uh, I want to say adaptability too. Um, so it's well rounded, and it's good for like asking what's coming into your life and what you should expect. So it's kind of like a future based reading, but um, it's gonna give you the goods and the bads that come into your life or that you're asking about. Okay, so messages that it has. So we have the Page of Cups. So I want to say that a message for me with this deck is that maybe I need to like connect with it a little bit more. Maybe I need to talk with it. I do see like some intuitive messages coming in, but like it itself wants to talk to. Like it's a pretty smart deck because we know with dolphins are pretty smart animals, mammals of course. So there is like a connection there, but I just have to constantly work with it to communicate clearly and more build like a more emotional relationship. Um, but that's his message. And then we have the connection. So the Eight of Pentacles, the connection between me and this deck, it's kind of like a work related connection. It's kind of like that business friend that that you associate with. You don't really get to into their life, but you work with them and you see them and you kind of like know bits and pieces about their life. I kind of feel like that's our connection. That's my connection with this deck. I'm not seeing too much. It's just it's a relationship that I have to work on. I keep saying for some reason. All right. So here comes the true questions. How does this deck, the Tarotwave, feel about specific categories in its life? Okay, so we have love, and that is a pretty devastating card to get, the Tower. I mean, we know that the Tower isn't like a bad card. If I pause, just know that like I'm trying to channel like what this card means. So thank you for your patience. But I feel like this deck could be a powerful force for a love reading. It could either make it or break it. I would definitely be careful with picking this deck for a love reading. It can really be a little bit like it can definitely be intense. Move this up. All right. Work. How does it feel about financial and work in general. So we have the Eight of Cups. We have two eights. This kind of feels like a long day, like the end of a long day at work. Um, Maybe it's how to de-stress yourself with the Eight of Cups, because the Eight of Cups is all about um, walking away. Um, it can also be associated with uh, having like an escape mentality. So maybe how to de-stress like after work, or how to walk away from a job, possibly how to de well, I think I've already said it, de-stress. But yeah, it's not really like a financial gain into this deck, but it's um more about like an emotional connection with your work. So if I were to pull this deck, or felt like this deck wanted to work with you for a job or anything, maybe it's because you kind of feel lost, um, or like you want to, although like you're fulfilled, you want to do something better. Um, but that is the interpretation for how it feels about work. And then we have physical. So physical could be like physical uh, physical actions or work that you might associate with health wise. Of course, this isn't like a health. Always, always ask your doctor, or uh, always find. I am having such a difficult time trying to interpret this. I am so sorry, guys. But always try to get actual help from a doctor. So how it feels about physical. So the Five of Cups can represent poverty, can represent codependency. Um, yeah, that's a hard one. Five of Pentacles for physical. I want to say unsolicited advice when it comes to health and physical. Um, I don't feel like it's strong suit in the physical. Maybe it could be about how to stop indulging in some health areas in your life. But that's all I'm pretty much seeing. So next we go with the spiritual, and it's quite interesting that the Hermit card came up. I think the best area for this deck to be used in, like if you're asking like a spiritual question, like what are my guides or my deities, or what does my higher self need to know or improve, or anything that deals with anything spiritual or otherworldly questions. I feel like this deck would really be well suited in that kind of those kind of questions. I kind of feel like everything else is like meh. It does it well. The love life, it's kind of like a hit or miss. Definitely see that, but the spiritual is definitely something that it definitely enjoys. So we have the last question, and it is, what is your reading style? Justice. We have five major arcana. Huh. So the reading style for this Justice, it gives you the pros and the cons. It's very balanced, and you know, I don't see anything negative about it. It's just like it just gives you the pros and the cons. Like that's pretty much the reading style. Like, I mean, don't expect it to give you like a decision to make. Like, expect this deck to give you the pros and the cons for something, and you decide what you want to do with that action. So that is its reading style. Let's see what's in the bottom card. And we have the Nine of Cups. So the Nine of Cups can represent, like in the bottom, can represent indulgement. It can also represent being like a little bit stingy, not like the Four of Pentacles, but more like you're careless with the stuff that you enjoy. So something that this deck lacks is this kind of like indulgence in life, especially with the Nine of Wands, because it kind of seems like, to me, when I was using this deck, I kind of felt like this deck was not really that talkative. Like it didn't mind doing some readings, but it kind of felt drained. Like personally, I know when I'm feeling drained, but with some decks, like I feel like they just feel drained after like being out in the public for a while. So I guess that's kind of like an attitude that it has a problem with, but it's nothing too bad. But yeah, that's my deck interview. So overall, I definitely will be using this for like spiritual readings. This is so difficult. Okay, whatever. So I will definitely be using this for like spiritual readings, one-on-one sessions, of course. I definitely don't feel like it minds doing like general public readings, but I think it prefers just sticking with just one-on-one sessions. Yeah. Alright, well, if you have stuck this long and enjoyed watching me do a little interview for this deck, feel free to like and subscribe, because I will be posting some videos. I also do what's it called? Live readings every Thursday. I'm trying to do it in like I just lost my train of thought. I'm trying to stick with a reading time for my life, so you can catch me on Thursdays. Or if you want, you could ask, well, not ask, but you could get like a private reading from me. Hmm. You know, this is weird. Like it's just the end of the video, but I kind of smile when the train is like. I kind of smile when the train is like honking because I know that like my parents' goose are usually like is usually um, honking, and it's hilarious. But yeah, just remember to like and subscribe to see more content, and I will see you on the next one. With that being said and done, take care and have a good day. Okay, bye.